where the fun begins.
At least on my end. Maybe it's me.
Not on my end.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the council. We begin tonight's meeting of the council by calling the council to order. Hello to everyone, and thank you for joining us. The council is a live Twitch talk show and podcast discussing Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm Elise, and with me are my fellow council members. Magic Ace.
Hola.
Redna.
Bonjour.
And Sakari.
What's hello in Zulu? I don't know. So bona. I'm African. I'm allowed to say that.
I was going to say that. Can't you
Man,
both something else?
we weren't ready for this. When we suddenly everybody starts talking foreign languages, and I'm third in line. I was going to say hello, and now that's suddenly boring. So
You should have been the one to open it.
I should have. I would have.
You know, as the non-native born American, you could have said hello and it would have been appropriate.
I suppose that's true.
He's an American in all the ways that it counts, so he doesn't think about that.
Indeed.
Okay, well, tonight we're going to be talking about, of course, Onslaught, which releases tomorrow, 6.0. So, all things Onslaught tonight. That's what we're talking about.
We're going to slaughter ourselves. It's going to be an onslaught to your ears.
Okay.
And after that, you can find us anywhere our recorded episodes are found, like our website. Oh, I forgot to turn my phone on silent. I apologize. Like our website, which is at thecouncilswotor.com. And you can also find us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/councilswotor. We also have this amazing thing called Twitter, and it's at thecouncilswotor. And sometimes I get a hold of it and put funny GIFs in there. I think they're funny, and you don't have to. I think they're funny for both of us. We also have random, like Google and or whatever other browser you might have searches. And last but not least, we have Patreon. So you can also find all of our excellent content on Patreon if you so choose to join. We have extra stuff.
Very cool. Yes, we do. All right, so we're a little bit rusty. It has been a month, guys, since we last did this. We were supposed to have an episode the last time, and some things got in the way, and that's all right. But here we are with this episode. We are live. I feel rusty as I can be. I'm worried the wheels are going to fall off, so please be patient with us. As we get this thing going tonight, though, the icebreaker question. Which, of course, is how we get our chat going. And a lot of times we're supposed to have this little section and then get into the deliberation, but we begin the deliberation instead of the icebreaker. So it does its job getting. If you're in chat, please feel free to answer in chat. We'd love to know what your thoughts are to this question as well. Always happy to have you part of it. Yes, indeed. The patch notes went out today, everybody. To the council and also to chat. A
lot of them.
There's a lot of patch notes, that's for sure.
About what? Like 80% of it is just class changes and detailing what the class tacticals and stuff are, right?
Yeah,
but that's like a 10,000 word essay, right?
That's
just 80% of it.
But if you want to dig into it, read the first 10%, read the last 10%, and then go after whatever class you like to play.
You know what? I think it's probably completely fair, yeah. But start with the class you're most familiar with, for sure. So out of all of what you got to read, what is the one aspect that you are particularly looking forward to? Which one are you looking forward to, I guess, the most? Because probably a few. So, with that said, let's throw the ball to
Let
Magic
me go
Ace.
last. No, let me
Come
go
on.
last. Okay,
all right, you know
fine.
what? I'm gonna.
No, I do it. It's depressing how little has happened to Sorks. It's depressing. Okay, so let me just say this briefly so I can get it out of the way and you can understand my grief. Okay, I've been a Sork main since free to play launched, and I recently got into Sork DPS and I love it so much. I'm finally tired of Sork kills where I want to do other things, but all these great things were happening to Merc and Sork, and I was like, yo, I can't wait to see what they got for Sork. And I cannot tell you how grossly disappointed I was. It was so frustrating to me on PTS. And I was like, that's it? The extra ability you gave us is legitimate garbage. Don't put it in your rotation. If you think it looks cool and you're like, yeah, but AoE, don't. Just don't. Please don't. It's really garbage. Like, just don't even put it on your bar unless you're just killing trash and you want to take really long time to kill it since it hits like a wet noodle. So that change is coming to Sork. When you get to level 75, you get a new ability. It's the wet noodle. That's what I call it. I don't actually know what it's called because I was too salty to learn the actual name. So there's an ability that it will have. Oh, okay. This is also like an interface change, not necessarily a Sork change. It's an interface change where like exfiltrate on an operative has a number in the top corner of your little square that you put it on, and when you use exfiltration, it ticks down to 1 when it had 2, and then when you use it a second time, it ticks to 0. Well, this Sork ability also has this. It starts out with 3, and then it ticks down as you're using the ability. It ticks down to 2.
So it sounds a little bit like recklessness.
Kind of, but the charges you see on the bar, like it doesn't matter what your interface is, whether you have numbers showing up or not.
Interesting.
It actually ticks down. So that's actually like an overall change, not necessarily a class change. But the reason why I say it is it's relevant to this ability. People are like, yeah, but you know what? But it looks fun and it's good for AoE because it hits multiple targets. It's not good for AoE, and I don't care that that pretty little number in the corner says 3. Don't put it on your bar, okay? It's garbage. Unless you just want to really slowly kill trash, then that's good for it.
Don't put it on your.
You can do that. Yeah. So that's the pain. Not a lot has changed for Sorks, and the tacticals are garbage, and the set bonuses are garbage. But operatives and Merc, they got so much love, so much love. Long story short, there's great set bonuses for the different armors you can choose. That drastically changes the way
wait until the class
work.
stuff though. You got time to talk about it later.
Okay, so
sadness.
I love that we have like
screwed.
a veteran, like a nightmare raider, like is like, I care about the gear.
So in answer to the question, she's most looking forward to the fact that Sorks got screwed.
I'm most looking forward to the fact that I can play operative because my raid group already knows I'm going to be operative main 6.0 because I can't take the heartbreak of playing Sork after this. I just can't. Except for DPS. DPS Sork. Oh, they got so much love. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I'm good. Next.
Try that in PvP. Sounds like fun.
I mean, that's good because
Lightning Sork. Yes. About time they got some love.
It's going to be one of the top
DPS
parsing specs. To be honest, Lightning is. Madness is still good, clearly, but Lightning's getting the love that it's been looking for a while. So
good, because I love that rotation. It feels like Zeus throwing all that lightning.
Yes, it does. Thundering Blast Chain Lightning combo. Oh, my heart. Okay, sorry.
Elise, what one aspect are you looking forward to the most out of all of what you got to read?
Free to play and preferred got some love.
Really? Now, are you saying that because you're intending to go into 6.0 as a free to play? No. Or are you just happy for other people?
Oh, sweetheart, you weren't reading the Unholy Alliance chat, clearly.
No, I was not.
My drama of the last 2 weeks.
Well, so I know that for a long time you have been passionate about free-to-play being awful.
She got screwed last week. She got screwed.
No, okay, so tell us what happened then. Catch me up.
So I subscribed, what was it, 2 Saturdays ago, Magic Ace? 2 or 3? Was it the 5th or was it the 12th?
No, it wasn't. Whatever. It was 2 ago because the first time it wouldn't work out and the second time we did other things with it. So it was 2 weeks ago.
It the 5th, right? Maybe? The 5th? Yeah. Saturday the 5th?
Or that week, yeah. Like, it wasn't that week.
Because we rated, so I subscribed the morning... Either the Friday before we were supposed to do a WOG run.
Oh, okay. Yes, you got on to do a WOG. I remember that. Okay.
And so I subscribed that morning, and all day, it still said I was preferred on my screen. I got the email that said I was subscribed. I got the cartel coins that said
Did you log out and log back in?
Yes.
Oh goodness.
I
did
multiple times. I called customer service. I was on the phone with them for 40 minutes. They attempted to reset my account 4 times while I was on the phone. They're like, "Oh, no problem. Yeah, it says that you're subscribed." Long story short, it had to be escalated. So then I email Eric and I go,
"Yeah, you better believe it. I've got some direct connect here."
And so basically what happened is something
That's
broke.
what I told her to do. I said, go cry to Eric right now. Make him fix this.
Well, I wanted to have him some time, but then I was like, because I'm like, I don't want it to be late because he's screwing around with my crap, and I don't want him to be there until like midnight while he's screwing with my crap and then have to pull other people off to screw with my crap. But I was like, dude, you've got to screw with my crap. Like, I tried. So
we will convene the council right now to deal with this.
It finally got fixed. it took them 2 weeks
Really? Ouch.
between regular customer service and then, Eric trying to fit it in, I imagine, in between all of the stuff that needs to happen. So that was my drama,
So,
and I was
I hope
talking
this
about
isn't
it
just you,
in
you know?
Discord.
Wow, because I mean, like, hey, you can have it free to play, or or preferred or whatever. To say, you know what, I'm going to subscribe for something, and then this happens, and they're like, you know what, this cements why I didn't want to come to this game. I took a chance, and here I am getting slapped in the face. So absolutely, I'm not coming back, and so you kind of want that experience to go well.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I got the Origin bundle, which gives you cartel coins and the 2 months, right?
Okay.
And I've heard stories that sometimes it works correctly and sometimes it doesn't. So I took the chance. I was like, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just call customer service and have them fix it. But according to Eric, my account was super weird on the back end. So I don't know what happened, but they actually had to have the devs fix it. So I don't know, but so I have been subscribed, but not being able to play as a subscriber until like, I don't know, it might have been, I think it was maybe Friday. I can't remember, Friday, Thursday, something like that last week.
So did you get to do the WOG run? Did you were able to troubleshoot that? You couldn't do it at all.
Nope.
She couldn't do the instance, but we did do world bosses and stuff like that. She was able to do that. So
yeah,
she
because
did get to participate some.
because you want to get into an ops, right? That was the whole reason for doing it. And then you when it doesn't work, then you're left making the decision: does somebody have a cartel whatever unlock for me to spend? And those don't exist, I don't think, right?
No, and
so
I was
you're
also
just
donating.
screwed,
Well, actually,
and you paid cash.
If you had the like ops certificates when they got rid of them, and you had them in your legacy bank, they actually stayed, and you could still use them. If they were in a tune inventory, if they were in a tune inventory, you could not use them because they disappeared. So I actually have a friend. He didn't want to sub, but he wanted to come in and try the new raid, and so he was like, "Well, I still have 7 ops passes in my legacy bank. I'll just pop one of those," and that's what he did. Yeah,
wow.
So it still works.
That's pretty awesome. No, I didn't get to. I didn't get to do it, and also we tried a sub code, and that didn't work either because my entire account was just jacked.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is the love that they're getting? The free to play, like what is the bonuses that they're?
Okay, so first of all, preferred people who, when they hit 75, will actually be able to earn renown, just only at a 25% rate.
Wow. Okay, so you got 4 times the work for every level. But it's just a box, right? It's a box that gives you...
Right, but it actually progresses, because before you got 0 progress.
Exactly. So that's an improvement. I'll take it. Something is better than nothing.
Could you get to max level previously?
I never did. My highest
no, actually,
so I don't know.
If you hadn't already subbed, you couldn't go past 50 because you didn't have access to Rise of the Hutt Cartel.
Correct.
So you couldn't get to 55.
People get those now for free, and you get to go up to level 60 now.
Rise of the Hutt Cartel and Shadow of Riven will be free to players tomorrow.
Yep. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so they'll be able to do that, but previously, no. If you had never subbed, you couldn't go past 50. Yep.
So for them, it's like 2 expansions drop at once. I mean, how cool is that?
Okay, let me find the other free-to-play stuff. So, oh man, free-to-play. Okay, here we go. Sorry. So I just talked about that. They doubled the number of war zones you can play a week for us free-to-play. They doubled the number of flashpoints you can play per week. Actually, they tripled it? No, it went from 3 to 10. So a 75% increase?
Well, there wasn't a limit on flashpoints. There was a limit on what you could loot from the flashpoints.
Right. So you can get, I'm sorry, correct. So now you can get rewards from 10 flashpoints a week, up from 3.
Which is a pretty decent weekly. What are the flashpoint weeklies, you know?
Was there anything on, I didn't get to read that section. Was there anything on war zones? Because previously, unless you hooked up with a sub, you could only do 5.
10 now. You can have up to 10. So you could get the weekly done.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, because the whole year the year I gave birth to my son, that whole year I couldn't afford a sub except for like 1 month. So my friends that were subs, they would PvP with me. So
at least you could get your weekly done. That's nice. I think that's nice. And then you can play 10 of the, on rails space PvE missions, right? I think that's what those are. You could only do 5 of those before. That is mind blowing to me. Why would you put a limit on those? How many people still do this?
It's like it's not
Honestly,
played.
I do.
Nobody
But
plays
for
them.
some reason, only on PubSide. I only do them on PubSide.
I mean, really,
I've never
I didn't
been
even know
interested in
about them.
Side. Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't know
because it's
about
quite
them until I've
different
been playing this
switching
game for a
sides.
year and a half. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know even what those things were.
Once
So,
upon a time, when I was leveling characters the hard way, that was really good. Like in the early 20s, like if that was actually really good XP. I remember I used to do those just for the grind. They were
That's
helpful
how
for
I
the-
got my first not operative, what is it, scoundrel healer?
Dude, back
Is
in the
I
day,
did those missions all the way till she was level 45, I think.
yeah, back in the day, those dailies were the fastest way to level your character, bar none. Faster than flashpoints, faster than anything.
that's pretty awesome, but it's not that way anymore, I don't think. Or nobody actually talks about them.
Nobody
really.
plays it, so nobody
So-
knows.
Nobody ever
It's
talked about it
not.
back in the day either. That was
Well,
actually
you can look at how much it'll give you, and you can just tell it's not, because the way to get the most XP now is to do group content. Even like dailies, heroics, you have to do it in a group to maximize the amount of XP you get, and you can't do those in groups or solo. So no, it's not the fastest way to level.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Because what they did was they modified. Basically, it used to be that there was a decrease based off of the number of people you had in your group. It actually decreased your XP, and now it actually is a multiplier. So you get more XP doing group than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my things that I am. Obviously, there are other things that I'm excited about. Let's not even talk about the fact of the story, but
Yes.
that's a short and sweet. I'm glad that they showed some love to the free to players.
Definitely.
they should.
Absolutely. Redna, what about you, sir? What is your number one top of your list for the new stuff coming out?
Unquestionably, when we're talking about space, it's the changes to Galactic Starfighter. I'm so psyched that they're actually touching it. I thought it was going to be left completely ignored and forgotten. But in fact, the B5 Decimus description typo has been corrected. I can't wait.
I love it. Corrected the typo. Yay. There is a
I'm
hope.
so psyched. I'm going to log in and pull up that ship first thing, man. I tell you what.
Like, we should name a movie after this. Let's call it A New Hope. Oh, goodness.
well, that's kind of sad. I mean, you guys got that fixed, but
The more I think about that, the funnier
And
it gets. That's
I totally
corrected
do
the
something
typo.
with it. But they must have just run out of time. But
I love
supposedly,
in the notes too. They put a big bold like this is a whole section header Galactic Starfighter. We fixed the description.
well, but on the silver lining, I guess we heard. I read on. Okay, so supposedly I read on Reddit. So take this whatever. But supposedly Keith, I guess said that this is supposed to be an 18-month expansion. Basically, they're going to be releasing stuff intermittently, hitting different.
Yeah,
like,
a flashpoint here and a
game
flashpoint there.
content. So
Interesting. So we are certain that we aren't getting another expansion for at least 2 years then.
well, 18 months, so that's a year and a half. I mean, I don't
Right.
know.
And you think
Well,
they're gonna
yeah,
be putting
that-
one out right at the end.
That presumes that they don't get to
The
the end of
exact
18 months.
terminology, it's 18 months.
They'll get to the end of 18 months, and then we'll just have a content drought for 6.
I mean, there was
They're
this,
like, hey, just like any other video game you buy, wait 18 months and the whole expansion will be released.
so who knows? Maybe GSF will get touched. I don't know.
Maybe.
Supposedly
hope
that was
so.
said at the New York Cantina by Keith. Just random. I
It's
don't know.
going to sound silly, but the one thing that really caught my eye that is actually going to be helpful to me is the fact that any player who previously earned the Dark versus Life achievements has been re-granted the armor. The
Word,
XP
because I
armor.
just sent mine over to Starforge.
Yes.
I'll get another set.
So you get another set, and it's the XP armor, so you can level faster.
So
And I have
Really?
no
Okay.
idea where that whole set is. I've got one piece missing that I need to get that final set bonus, and I can't
Okay.
figure out which freaking character it's on.
Say this for me one more time. What is the what's your item here? The with the XP?
Any player who previously earned the Dark versus Light achievements has been re-granted the corresponding Dark versus Light armor. They can find it in their Legacy Overflow stash.
Okay, the dark versus light. So this is for sure the leveling stuff.
that has to be the leveling stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I put it on a new character, and then I decided I didn't want to play the character, and I deleted the character, and then I was like, Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
That was
Which might be what happened to that one rando piece that I can't seem to find. So
yeah. It's just hate it when
And
that
I'm
happens.
I sent all of mine over to Starforge because I have my highest character is 66. So I was
Yeah,
like, well,
gotta
I can use
level
that.
something there.
Yeah, but I was like, when I read that, I was like, yes, good decision on my part. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
although Kid Lee is saying in the chat room that you can make your own XP set now with the new ones. So we'll see. Otherwise, no, I mean, more than anything, forget the drama mama. I am all about like just experiencing all of these new set bonuses and tacticals and playing around with it. I know there's always the number crunchers that are come out with like that one that they say is the best of the best. But it seems like more often than not, when I'm in an environment where there's actually a diverse set of goodness out there, I've always been able to figure out something that works better for me. And then oftentimes several months later, like the whole community shifts in that direction.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm not looking forward to the pompous fools that are going to tell us how we're supposed to play and probably get it wrong, but I am looking forward to playing it for myself.
Forget best in slot. I'm gonna go for the worst in slot. That's how I'm gonna be unique. see if
Hey,
see if that
join
gets me
me.
anywhere.
That's
It's
right.
pretty chill. You just pick up something off the ground, put it on. Word.
I've got
I'm a unique snowflake.
screenshots. You put your gunslinger or sniper into some tanking defense armor, and
Yes.
I want to see it.
But you know what? That's going to happen in this expansion, right? Because the name of the game, I think we were talking about this last episode, is get your gear rating as high as you can. Nobody's going to care. I mean, you're going to see DPS, healers, and tank gear because it's a higher rating. Just whatever they can do to get their gear rating up so that they can start working on that last little bit. I guarantee you, we're going to see it's going to be trash gear sets galore here in the front end of this.
Oh, sure.
People
well,
rocking
if you want to be
green
the best
defense.
of the worst, Sakari, the first thing you got to do is log into your Sork and put that wet noodle spell in every slot on every bar.
It's called strike yourself.
That's right.
If you're trying to incur my wrath, that's a great way to go about it.
How to shock
then
myself.
You equip the tactical, increase flexibility, kick yourself in the nuts.
Everybody should use those and then send screenshots to Magic Ace's Twitter.
Yes.
I encourage.
That's
MAJIK. That's gonna be like a.
Why you
like
gotta
a
be so hateful? Though?
Sork Noodle Central for a little while. All right, so can I answer the question? Is that legal? Can we make that legal?
We've been waiting.
know.
for you.
All right, you're waiting on me. Okay, so let me. I appreciate that they are actually going to put on Fleet all types of storage, namely the cargo hold, the legacy storage, and the guild bank. In the various sections of the fleet. It's about time that they do that. My goodness, I know you can find the guild ones if you go to a certain spot. I know there's the main ones, but having legacy storage on fleet to me is brilliant. And the taxis have been added to the fleet, which will take you between each quarter. So apparently it's too much of a drag to put your finger on the button and sit there for 30 seconds, right? But hey, I mean, why not?
You don't even need to put your finger on the button. There's an auto move. Like you hit it once and it just keeps moving.
Hey, you guys.
It's just a matter of
understand.
I'm too lazy to wait, is what they're saying.
Yes, I don't.
Hey, I'm excited about this. Y'all can hate if you want.
I've got to get 100 feet that way. I'm gonna take the speeder. So, whoop. Do it in almost about the same time.
I heard they've also increased the signage. Like there are signs that actually tell you where things.
I was reading briefly that they're actually, I think they're going to adjust lighting or something like that, so that you can just be in a section and kind of know which section you are intuitively, not based on where I am. When you bring up the mini map to see or whatever, but you'll just be able to tell where you are by the coloring, which I think is kind of cool.
The mini map is always up. You don't need to bring.
Yeah,
up.
I was about to say.
Well,
it just depends on how you use it.
you save yourself.
Issues.
You save yourself the effort of even having to glance at it. It's that easy. You don't even have to move your eye muscle.
Word.
Yeah, but there's going to be people that are going to say that it's too much effort anyway. Just guild summon me.
Guild summon me. I need to go to the legacy bank and someone guild summon me.
No,
Gonna give an
I
officer to show
I
up.
agree with you. Putting the legacy banks on the
Yeah.
fleet.
The other ones were there, but the legacy bank. Oh, and an appearance modification station. Did I read that right as well? That's gonna be there.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Because I mean, unless you have that stuff, I've always had to go to a stronghold or go to some some other place. And I use my legacy storage more than any other storage I have. So
Same.
glad that they're doing that. I think that's going to be, that to me is one of those very minor quality of life improvements that actually is a
Like
massive
the sell
change.
button.
Well, then
Woo!
you should
Yes.
also be equally happy that they've added the additional storage
Yes.
specific for what
Yes.
is crafting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah,
what
so
takes up 2.5 tabs of
Uh-huh.
my
If you collect
Yeah.
everything,
three
it's
of
2.5.
mine, like it's like basically my legacy bank to date has been crafting.
You know how
Yep.
Discord does the streaming thing now? I let one of my friends see my legacy bank through the Discord streaming, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, my eyes have AIDS. What's wrong with you?" And
That's
I'm
funny.
like, "Listen, I'm a crafter. Okay, I need all the
But now
things.
you're a
This is what I
true
need."
crafter if you have it separated by type, right? You got number one.
Yeah, I
number
have-
two,
I have
number
the
three,
green
The only
number
way to
four.
find anything separated
Yeah.
by type and organized by
By the
value.
level. No,
Yeah, by
Yes.
level.
yeah, by level. I do it by green, blue, and purple, and then there's the level of it. Like so. I mean, I'm mostly organized, but it doesn't look like organized. But I promise
yeah,
it's organized.
And the only other thing that I put in there was the companion gifts.
Yes,
Yeah.
Although I have like a bunch of legacy gear, like you got those gear drops, and if it's a decent enough looking piece, I'll maybe keep it so that I can put it on a character later. I do that, but I'm always
Yeah, I've
bothered
got
by how
junk
much
also,
junk.
'cause I didn't have enough room for that.
Jawa scrap, I got a bunch of that, like currencies that you pick up on here and there and everywhere that you always think you're gonna ever do. Kind of stuff as plugging up my bank. It's gonna be nice to have most of it accessible now. Very happy about that.
The only thing is like I didn't think to check about it. Is it per tune or is it per legacy? Because it's not going to help me out any if I have 3, crafters that use the same things, but it's only per person. So I have to take it out manually, put it back in my legacy bank anyways. That's stupid in my opinion. So I didn't think to check, but now I'm curious.
I wish they would just, because that's where it's going to go no matter what, right? Why even go into your character's inventory? Why don't you just put it straight in their legacy bank? That's where
Well, see, that's what
everybody's
I'm
stuff
wondering.
goes. I think that'd be great.
Well, that's why I'm wondering because if the bank itself or like the separate tab that gives you in your inventory, if that is legacy and each character can access it, whether it's a crafter or not, then to me it's worth it. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like, well, then I still have to put in my legacy bank. So what good did that do me? You know?
It's legacy.
So yeah. Anyway, that concludes forthwith the what is it, the icebreaker question.
Icebreaker.
So all right, so we're
The council has begun.
We're running 15 minutes. We started 15 minutes later than we usually do, so it does not appear. It's not as late for the episode as it appears. But I don't know. Like we've got a lot. There was a lot to these patch notes. I didn't even have time to kind of go through everything. I know there's a lot there. Elise, why don't you just kind of lead us through your general observations if you want, and maybe let's talk about some things that kind of jump out at you. Is that a way to approach this?
That's fine. We talked about a lot of them, I think. On my little witch columns there. Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay, so everybody gets another 100 levels or whatever they can level their crafter to.
So
right?
okay, so
Currently
700.
and it's going to go to 700.
Right, and we were expecting that though, right? I'm not remotely surprised that they did that because I imagine there's probably going to be 2 new layers of crafting mats that you can get in these new worlds, and these will push up to 700. So all the cool stuff will be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So again, those of you who actually know min-maxing and all that stuff better than me, I read on there, I thought it said that your GDCs aren't going to be affected by alacrity anymore.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I'm pretty okay with that due to the fact that since they screwed up alacrity so bad in this patch, because I was really terrified of that.
It doesn't affect the global cooldown. That's what this means. So because I know they rethought alacrity for a while, and they were like, okay, since it makes you act faster, then they had to compensate you for the fact that you weren't regenerating your resource, right? Whatever it is across your class that you use, and so they did that, and now they're going back. to where you are the same. So what's the point of alacrity then if you can't speed up? Or is alacrity hereby done? Is it old and busted and we're moving on to the new hotness, which is crit?
I mean, they've done that before, right?
Are we back to power?
I mean,
I remember
power
like
was a
2.0
thing,
was
mastery
power.
was a thing, then
Yeah.
crit was a thing, then we went back to, was it mastery at one
But
point?
a lot of that had to do with the
new
mathematics.
hotness.
A lot of that had to do with the mathematics of how stats actually contributed to your ability set. And that was the thing with alacrity was when it comes to alacrity, they did the exact same thing that World of Warcraft did with haste when they first introduced it, where it didn't speed up cooldowns, it didn't speed up dot ticks, it didn't speed up hits on channels. Like a channel would go faster, but the ticks wouldn't hit faster, so you'd actually just be clipping off an extra hit on your channels.
So it was just attack speed or something, like straight.
It was like, well, no, you're like really big mega fireball that casted over 10 seconds. You could get that reduced to 6 seconds. You know, any big nuking spell, it was okay, but all of your other spells, it just really wasn't beneficial. And then it also didn't do global cooldown. And that was the thing, is like, okay, well then if you've got all of these dots that you're casting, right? And then it's influencing those. But then like you can't cast, if all of your spells, if you're a class that's an all spell class, alacrity does absolutely nothing for you other than perhaps helping those dots to tick a little faster. If it doesn't do anything for your GCD. That was why it was done. So now they're reverting. But I mean, this is every single expansion that they've ever come out with. They do something really stupid where they unlearn what they learned before. And so
that's Star Wars,
just
right?
one of those.
That's what Star Wars is all about. You must unlearn what you have learned.
That's
So
right. Never ever learn from your mistakes.
at least they're true to the teachings, right?
Okay, so we have that. So I thought that would be a good shout out for those dot players, which
But I mean, this kind of bothers me a little bit. I mean,
I bounce between dot spec on my assassin and
to me, it sounds like alacrity is done for. We're moving on. Like,
I don't know. We'll just have to see how it plays. It may be and it may not be. We don't really know what that means until you get out there, because they could have tinkered with something else they didn't tell us about. So, I'd get out there and try it. If you don't like it, then politely and respectfully go to the forums and
I guess
say something about
alacrity is the C3PO. It's like, go on without me. I'm done for. Right? It's like it's over.
Please go on, Master. Just go on.
So you now will get your companions back on your ship. I know that was a huge thing on Reddit, that people wanted their companions back on the ship instead.
Yeah, because I don't want to be on a Descent forever. The story eventually ends. Where's my companions?
So
yeah, especially when you have them all back and they're not on your ship. No, but you're talking about just the core class companions that you've earned back, right? It's not just everybody on your ship.
Companions.
Everyone who you earn back, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's all 200.
Because if you kill,
Well,
but
returning
people you
companions
kill
are the ones that left and are now returning.
I know. If you're Redneck,
let's
you want
say,
all
like, you
200 of them
killed-
in the airlock. You're all just standing there.
Boop. No, like if you killed Quinn, or you killed, you wanted to kill one of what was the other one? Cleo
Jordan,
or something like that. Like, yeah, you could kill any of those people. Clearly, they can't be back on your ship because they were killed. Because that would be really weird to suddenly walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, Quinn, I thought you were dead.
Cleo, she's
up. One would argue that they had not returned at that stage. They were dead and buried.
They did return.
Or incinerated or out the airlock.
I wish they would give you slots, right? Like at a certain stage, they're like, okay, we're done with this core story thing. So you get almost like deco slots, and you get to pick. In this part here, I want this companion. In that spot there, I want that companion. And they just stand there. They don't have anything to do, right? But they just stand there and be on your ship.
Kind of like
I think that'd be kind of cool.
When you send them out on crew skill missions, then they go to the little back table or whatever in your ship.
Just something that does that. I think that'd be great. Just you get to pick which ones you care about.
Yep. Okay, so this one I thought was amazing. I don't play enough PvP to have known this, but the body type 1 people were hiding underneath the arena ramp in McCab. What?
Yes,
they
of course.
Fixed that. What? You can't do that anymore.
The McCab
This is
arena
why
ramp.
All of my stealth classes are freaking body type 1 for this very purpose.
Well, sad for you, but
I like to hide and let the poison kill all of us, and then that's pretty much drag it out. Make it
and I get yelled at for that.
Drag it to the bitter end.
Okay. Oh, if you have the contraband slot machines, you cannot give them to your guilds anymore.
I wish
Starting
they'd make
tomorrow.
those.
So log in tonight and donate them.
If you want to donate that to your guild.
Because they won't
Get
take
it
them
done
from the
tonight.
guild. You just can't donate them. In
Well,
the future.
they're worthless anyway, right? You get nothing out of them at all.
Well, I thought, at one
They are
point.
decos.
They are.
Well,
They're really fun to interact with, but they're like, if you don't get something on the odd occasion, even if it's just like a credits payout, it's what's the.
I thought at one
point.
point somebody told me you could farm some rep from like the ones you don't get rep from anymore, like the.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For
the
what?
very
I
first
don't know,
one.
that
the
might
very
be
first
gone
one
now,
that they
but-
provided. They still do. The drop rates are like obscenely low now, but they do still drop.
Let me
yeah.
see. Then they also said that orange quality gear will only be used now for microtransaction items. So, like I think I said in the notes, no more
Okay. All
reusable
right.
samples.
Okay, so orange quality used
So
to be.
best in slot legendary gear can only be bought. Got it.
No, it's not
No.
legendary.
It's
It's
not
orange.
yellow.
Oranges. Orange is legendary.
Yeah.
But
It's
you
not
know
the
what?
gold
In all honesty, they've been
with-
moving in this direction for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that they finally decided to just do it. Just put it out of its misery, because like everything that was coming out of the cartel market was all orange anyway. Really, orange stuff, you don't get orange stuff because it's got mods and armorings and whatever. You get it
You
for
get
the
it
shell.
because you can mod it.
You get it
want the
for what it
shell.
looks like, and that's what the cartel market is, right? It's all cosmetic stuff. So that actually, in my opinion, is at least they're being honest.
So, but this is my question though.
What about all the gear I got?
That adaptive gear vendor that's on the fleet, that's actually a great value if you're like, there's some really cute sets in there, and they've got some really cool, like you can get the earpiece that's really expensive if you want to buy it on the cartel market because it's an old set, but you could get that, like one of those, and there's a lot of kind of little gems in that. It's that like level, it used to be the level 7 vendor, now it's just called the adaptive gear. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
This is such an obscure vendor. I don't really look at many of those vendors on Fleet anymore.
Just
They still
not
have
the-
vendors on Fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
anyway,
actually
that
I
do.
haven't
was
been on
all-
Fleet for about 5 years, so
That's an orange vendor. So I wonder what they're going to do. All that is orange gear. So I wonder what they're going to do with that. Is it going to become blue gear or
it'll be purple,
green
right?
gear,
It'll be
or
purple moddable gear.
because it's all low level. It's like the mods that are in it. Are there mods in it, or are they just like empty? I can't remember. But
There's a lot of
it
legacy
used to be
gear.
the 7 or 10 like level vendor. Your first one you'd hit. So
There's a lot of stuff out there, like a lot of stuff that is
Yeah.
old, orange, whatever. And there are certain things that are, piece shells, essentially just shells. So interesting.
Don't forget my last tip. Well, I guess you'll get a set of 268 if you finish the story. So.
Oh, great.
finish
So
the
some
story.
entry level,
Don't ignore it.
68 gear.
entry level, and that's good. I think they used to do that once, way back in the day with T&Es, if you can recall. Redna, probably you. I think everybody has since joined the game a lot later, but T&Es.
T&Es was gotten through the flashpoints.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the entry level end game gear. That was like the lowest.
Yes.
But you could get a whole
But
set
it had set
upon.
bonuses on it. That was the
Yeah.
cool thing.
Yes,
Yeah. Because you're right. There was basically, it was flashpoint gear, but it gave you your set bonuses.
Yeah.
And then
You were viable
everybody
for
would
end
talk
game.
about the 4 tiers of gear, but really there were only 3 from the operations. It was just they included that because they had the set bonuses, they considered that T&E's flashpoint gear to be the first tier. And it was great because honestly, I liked that mode of distribution because it actually had you playing content that was group, not large group, but it was group, so that you had to like learn roles and mechanics just before you ever
Well,
even stepped
When
into
they
an
define
operation.
group content for us, they don't give us like a number, like it has to be X amount of people. No, it's just group content because there's
Right.
more than one person doing it.
Right, group content before going into ops. So,
And don't
but I
forget-
mean, PvP is group content too. So,
Yeah. And don't forget, again, set bonus gear will be moving from the armor rings to the shell. So if you have shells and you
Which
took the crap
kinda
out,
sucks.
I hope you
Okay.
didn't sell it, because if you did,
Of course I did, because I didn't need it, okay? I didn't
Yeah.
need it.
It was on the armoring, and now it's gone.
Ah.
yes. And so, and the old set bonuses will stop working at level
what are you
7.
talking about? I did need it. I needed it to turn it in for the next tier up.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep the mods and enhancements.
Oh, but you know what? The
it's
moment
the shells now that have it, not
the moment
armor.
they add 5 new layers, 5 new levels, and then you're starting to get all of the stuff is invalidated anyway. You have to get to endgame and start in the new process. So I'm not bothered by this, but
Well, and not to mention that they've already made it clear that once you hit level 75, any of those old sets will not function on your character anyway. So
really, stay with as in they still have cosmetic value, but they have 0 stat value. Is
Correct.
that the idea? Okay.
Well, not
Yeah.
at least
they do not have
not
set bonus
bonus.
type.
They're just
Oh,
trying
the
to make
set
it
bonuses are gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So this is kind of like a hard reboot as far as gear is concerned. You just have to get there, and you're in greens, baby, and
Oh, yeah.
whatever you need to do to get your rating up. It's what I was saying earlier. It's like, hey, if I'm a healer and a piece drops, and this is all defense gear, and it's a higher rating than what I got on, absolutely put that baby on for the half hour that you have it, because
and it's garbage.
higher the rating, the better.
Okay.
Why are you doing this to us?
So let's go ahead and correct that misconception now. If you right-click on your profile picture when you're in the game, you can tell it what kind of gear you want it to drop. So it will actually drop
But
to
it
you
was
whatever
not like that on
discipline you
PTS.
chose.
So it's
No,
not
I
a
understand
misconception.
that.
That's how it was prior
Okay.
to this.
Okay. All right. So
But it is a misconception. Well, otherwise
Okay.
it's a misconception that you're going to be getting defense gear as a healer anyway. It
no,
was
no. Yeah, this
supposed-
is good. This is good.
And then on the PTS, that was another bug that was happening. It was designed that it was supposed to be dropping whatever discipline you were.
Right.
But there was still some random stuff happening depending on which bosses you were taking down and stuff like that.
No, but
Both
I'm
were
actually, this is good. Okay, because here's why. So if under the current 5.0, if I level a tank, okay, let's say I level a DPS, get DPS all the way to end game, and I'm like, hey, I'm a DPS, I'm gonna stay a DPS, but I'd like to tank on this character eventually.
Yes.
You had to stay DPS to keep climbing, to get the gear, get the new stuff, because it was going based on your discipline. Then when you get all the way to the end, you're like, yeah, I'm full of this, I'm going to switch over and collect my other set. But now I have to spec into tank, for instance, but wear my DPS gear to get the tank gear. Now at least I can say, hey, I'm going to stay DPS, I'm going to stay DPS spec and stay in my DPS gear, but I want it to drop tank gear for me. And now it's going to actually drop, and you can actually build another set that way. And in my opinion, this is a fix that we've long needed in this game, and I'm actually happy to see.
And
Yeah,
on
because that's
top of
not
that,
what it was on PTS. Everyone was freaking out. We're like, this is garbage. How they had it on PTS, I promise you, total garbage. So this is a vast improvement.
so on top of that, because one, agreed, that's awesome. Like you've got the gear for your tank, your basic, you've got it so that you know you can survive every boss fight. Like maybe it's not perfectly min-max, but you're tanking everything and you're good to go. You want to start farming up some DPS gear so that you can freaking go rock some sauce in the open world or whatever. So you can do that. The other thing that's awesome is no timers on story modes. So day one, you hit 75, you go and you do a story mode operation and you get all the story mode level tier gear. You get straight into your yellows with your set bonuses. And then every single item that drops for you is increasing item value from that. So you could literally just farm story modes from the first day, and I bet within 2 weeks have min-max gear.
I have opinions
I've
on
got-
that, but
I've
that's
gotta
for
think
another
this through.
show, I think.
But this is cool because realistically, that's how it'll function, which means gearing in this system is going to be so much faster than it ever was before anywhere else.
It will. Yeah, but so I think what it does is that system devalues the investment that Nightmare players put in getting all that gear so they can conquer tougher content, conquering tougher content so they can get the gear. They're on the cycle building and building and building, and in the end, it's like your higher gear is a status symbol that shows the world, hey, if you do a /inspect on me, wow, this person's a Nightmare Raider. The only place you can get that is by handling Nightmare content. Now everybody in story mode has it, so there's kind of like a little bit of way that they've devalued, I think, some of the status symbols that Nightmare players
but CXP
have.
did that. CXP did that originally.
Nobody does that anymore, except other Nightmare Raiders.
Nobody did. Yeah.
No,
I can't.
right.
I can count on one hand how many times I've inspected people.
I
So-
inspect people.
Okay,
No,
but
no, I gotta be
before-
fair.
never
I
inspect
inspect
anybody.
so I can see
No,
what they're wearing.
Nightmare Raiders inspect you to see if you've got all the gear. Because the other
They
thing
do.
that you're misunderstanding, Sakari, is that Nightmare Raiders don't go into Nightmare operations in order to get the Nightmare gear. Nightmare Raiders don't let you into their group until you've already got all
That's
the
what I was
Nightmare.
about to say.
That's true.
When
Yeah,
I was
no,
just
you're
doing
right.
hard
You have to
mode,
have it already.
if we couldn't pass the group, I immediately started checking gear. If we were having problems, I immediately started checking gear. I'm like, oh, because they got PvP gear on. What's your problem? And I whisper them and be like, yo, did you think that PvE is PvP? Because that gear doesn't work
Yeah,
here,
you're
bro.
not augmented. You don't have. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was like, what is this crap? Your full expertise. Like, you can't bring that crap in here. Come on, you need to change right now. They go, oh, this is the only gear I have.
See ya.
Yeah, get someone else in there. I'm like, nope, you can't be here.
Oh goodness.
So before I was ever a Nightmare Raider, I checked gear, okay, because I didn't want to waste my time doing things that people weren't geared to do. If you don't come into the content and have the gear that you need, then you're wasting my time. So
Yeah,
no.
no. That's
Not
Not
completely
that I'm
true.
fantastic,
You're right.
but I'm wearing the right gear.
I rescind my statement.
Well, and no, actually, you need not rescind, only modify. The Nightmare Raiders aren't inspecting your gear; they're inspecting your achievements.
That is true. Like, link your chivos.
Yeah.
I want to see that you've done this before, because I don't
I would-
trust you
is
that you've
the
done this
most
content.
annoying phrase I've ever
And
seen
thank you,
in a
Nathan.
game was them yelling that like
Link your
every
chivo.
few seconds.
So
Yeah, we're-
Link your
I
chivos.
love when someone says like you have to be able to do the hard mode, and they ask that you link the hard mode. I linked the Nightmare one. I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't make it, did I? Like, because it's not hard
that's
mode.
great.
Like, my bad.
I've got the Nightmare Chivo. I suppose you need to link your Chivo now. You're like,
Yeah, I'm
you one up
They're
them.
like,
Like,
you must have hard mode achievements.
I'll give
on
you
this
that and I'll
Nightmare.
raise you Nightmare. What are you gonna...
You guys laugh, but there have been times when I did not have hard mode achievements when I had it fully cleared on Nightmare mode. Like, so you can actually link the well, I've got 1 of 5 done. Dude, what the hell? You can't come in here. Well, what about this Nightmare link? Does that count for anything?
That's great.
Yep.
Oh goodness.
What's really crazy is like if you for a while if you didn't do the story mode on something and you did hard mode, it would give you that achievement as well. Or maybe it was NIM. I think it was NIM. If you hadn't done hard mode and you did Nightmare, it gave you that achievement. So like a lot of
what?
the
It might as
Nightmare
well.
ones. Yeah, a lot of the Nightmare ones, I did them and then got the hard mode achievements for them. I was like, yay, 16 man. That was so much better. Because I didn't have
Yeah,
time to
16
put
man
together a
was
hard
the
mode group.
bee's. I love 16 man back in the day.
That's because
Well,
it
I
was
just
more
did it not
forgiving.
too
You could
long
make
ago.
more mistakes and still kind of get there.
Totally depended on the operation.
I'm at 97% ops achievements right now, and I'm very annoyed because I have story mode achievements holding me back. I need 16-man story mode Ravagers, and I'm like, how did I miss this? I got past Willow, and I guess the group fell apart or something, and I never got them, and so it's actually
Sounds
killing
like
me
a
right
wog
now.
run to me.
Yeah, it's actually killing me right
Oh.
now that's what's
Yeah,
holding me back.
we never were able to get 16 people together. We'd always have like 14.
No, we did it we did it a couple times early,
I
like
first
maybe
joined.
3 years ago. Yeah, but it was a long time ago. Now it's hard for us just to get 8 people.
We're all
When
hands
we
on
were trying
deck,
to do that
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
when
mean,
we first started Outlog, those first few months, honestly, it was frequent where Elise would show up and say, "Hey guys, if you need someone to drop out, I'll drop." And we're like, "No, actually, we need you for 16."
We need a healer. We need
so
more heals.
I mean, like that's it. But now it's like, and that's the one thing I have to say. I'm excited for this expansion. Not to be a downer, but just the time that
You're
we've
entitled
taken.
to your opinion. It's not making you a downer.
Yeah, it is. But thank you.
I'm trying to be kind.
But I really do feel like the story mode raiding community, those of us who are showing up just to have a good time with
Yeah.
a bunch of people
With
all
a
at the
frosty
same
beverage. Shout out to our.
us, video game version of the Friday night bowling.
Exactly.
know.
I'll drink to that. Heck yeah. Except this is a Coke.
They're gone. Like gone. It took me 2 weeks to get that group together, and we still didn't have a full 8 people. Like,
Mhm.
and I was nagging every day, the last 3 days, rolling up to it, reminding people, "Hey, we're gonna do it. Hey, does everybody remember? is this time going to still be okay? Don't forget, we've got it. And we still
Still
could
struggle.
not
You have to
get.
pug the things. Yeah.
Nobody
It's-
mentioned
But
it
you
to
know,
me.
but you know what? We're
It was in Unholy Alliance's chat,
Yeah.
so I just
This is the-
assumed
I gotta
it was-
confess, I need to
Discord?
pay more attention to.
You haven't been on Discord in months.
Well, that's where it was.
You got to shout out on
Um,
Twitter.
I mean, we even had Kid Lee, by the way, y'all. So I can count on one hand how many times I've been able to raid with Kid. So that
Yeah,
was
my jam back in the day was that Marshall was always DMing me on Twitter. Dude, you coming tonight, right? Oh, is that on? Yeah, I'm there.
That's because you
and
always
we
needed an
tried.
off tank.
Yeah.
He was like,
I
I'm
mean-
doing this alone. So someone needs to.
We tried to get Marshall, but Marshall has had other commitments that he had to do and just couldn't do it on a Saturday. Plus, we did
Dude,
a little bit earlier.
And he's also becoming a legit author. I mean, hello, freaking fantabulastic.
So, it is what it is, but it really does make me sad because that was
You
my.
gotta. There's
that
got to
was
be a
my
draw
lane.
though. Like, I bet you people are going to be back. Like, I've been watching Mox very carefully these days in Discord, and he is on WoW daily. Like, he's been playing WoW, and I'm like, just this expansion is going to drop, and you're
Wow,
gonna
supports
be
the communists. I didn't expect that.
yeah. I'm like,
But
you're
see,
gonna be
here's-
back, man. You're gonna come back to the dark side.
He actually popped in. His one pub character that I'm friends with popped on because I saw it come up. But I'm telling you, what I think is going to happen, what I have heard more so, is people going, yeah, this might be my last XYZ months of subbing. I have seen that way more frequently
Probably.
than veterans going, woo, I can't wait to come back for Onslaught, and I'm going to be here for another year, and
Oh,
whatever.
really?
I'm
Which
not.
is funny
I'm
'cause,
not
like,
seeing that.
every
I'm seeing,
single
I'm
one of my
coming back.
friends-
I probably won't be here for very long.
Every
so.
single one of my friends that left for World of Warcraft, every single one of them has come to me and told me, you know of a good MMO that I should be playing other than World of Warcraft? I'm like, well, there's an expansion in SWTOR coming out. Oh, hell yeah, I'm on my way, because I cannot support those communists anymore. Like, that whole Hong Kong thing, they are out. They are so out. They're canceling their BlizzCon tickets, like everything. They're gone. And then I'm on Reddit, and I'm seeing so many people talking, asking questions like, hey, I'm coming into SWTOR because I had to get out of WoW, and like, that's legit cool. I like to see that.
I mean, but that happens in the MMO community, right? People move from one MMO to another
It's
because that's their
always true,
tier
yeah.
of game. They don't want to get into FPS or whatever else. So they
Dude,
move
not
from MMO
me. I'm all about Old Republic, so
I can't get into WoW
different.
because it's just too cartoony.
No,
yeah,
I can get
same
into
here.
WoW only
That's
because I want to
way
be the
more
crazy
grindy.
cat lady. Once I reach
Cat
the
lady.
crazy cat lady and I have that achievement, then it doesn't matter.
That's great.
But
yeah.
I think what I'm seeing though is that people who have been subscribed for the last 3 years of story content and average people content that we really haven't got a ton of for the last almost 3 years since the last expansion are tired. And those are the people who are going, yeah, this might be my last 3-month sub or 6-month sub or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see. We don't know what this rollout's going to be like. I don't know, but every
I'm
game has
interested to
churn.
see.
Yeah, so it'll be interested to see how much churn hits this game. But the
It will,
story
it
modes
will.
ops are sad. They make me sad.
At
Okay,
least from a
just continue.
playable content perspective, there's a lot more being offered now than in the last two quote unquote expansions.
So let me. So we have a few minutes left here. Can I just ask, what is everybody's like? Let's put a finger on the pulse here. How are we feeling about this expansion? We're on the eve of the expansion. It comes out tomorrow morning, guys. How is everyone feeling about this? Are we generally excited, or are we kind of trepidatious? What's your general mood right now with regard to this? Is it something you're looking forward to? What's the deal? Redna, what about you? Because I think you're usually the one that challenges our thinking in this regard.
I'm supposed to challenge you? Hell yeah, I'm excited. I mean, a lot of it is going to see how it plays out in actual live execution. I'm curious to see how things actually play. I'm much more interested right now in like the gearing system and the potential that's there with the diversity of play styles being addressed and variance in your own, play your character the way that you want to play it. Like, I mean, I have zero hope or expectation that the story is going to be worth anything because every expansion's been worse than one before. But That's not what this one seems to be focused on, and I'm genuinely happy about that.
Yeah. Okay. Elise, what about you?
I'm sorry. Am I excited? That was the question, right?
My
That was
question
your
is,
original-
what is your mood like on the
Oh.
eve of the drop of
Um,
6.0?
I mean, I'm always excited for new story. I'm not too fond of pirate planets that come around once a month and just have a bunch of dailies. That's.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I don't mean to be mean.
I
I'm
will say
sorry,
though,
Deb. I'm so
I do
sad,
like
but
that there
I'm
was a new
sorry I
event.
didn't. I mean, that's great
I
and
am
all,
happy
but
there's a new event, but
A new event
for
needs to
me,
be.
it was math.
To me, that's
So-
ancillary content, right? That's got to be that's something you bolt on to the main deal. And without a main deal, that's like yeah. I agree, Elise. I think I can. That resonates.
I think every 3 months or 4 months, I might actually bother to pull myself out to do the event. So events kind of.
Yeah.
I did them a lot when we did when WOG was in power because we always did Xeno and Eyeless, which was oodles of fun both times. But so I'm excited about that. I'm also excited. Sam Walshlanger, I think that's how you say her last name. She actually did a lot of like the Theron romance stuff, and I think she did the Arcan romance, and she might have done the Vector one too.
No wonder you
She
girls
said her-
love it. She's like
Yeah.
the mastermind of all of this.
wait, Theron,
I feel like she
And
did.
Vector?
I could be misspeaking, but I swear she did chunks of that. So
Well,
she
who
said
wouldn't
the
want to
last
romance a
bit of her.
megalomaniacal backstabbing douchebag? I mean, really, especially.
I was
with that
waiting
hair.
for it, and it showed up. I love it. I was like,
She
you
said
read
the last.
That's
She
awesome.
said she had heard a rumor that the last bit of content she wrote before she moved to Guild Wars 2 might be showing up in the expansion. So I'm excited for that. I really liked her stuff. So
Cool.
I'm
Please,
glad to see that.
I
please,
would
dear
say
Force.
I anticipate it, but I
Please,
wouldn't
dear
say
Force.
excited.
And we see a return of Kira Carson and and what's his name and Scourge. Please, dear Force. Amen.
I think isn't
Well,
the
and
problem
keep
holding
in
them
mind-
back is contract issues with the voice actors? Isn't that? I thought that I heard that was the issue with them is trying to work things out with
You know
actual
what?
voice actors.
You bring new
but-
voice. It's been a while. You put some new voice actors in. You know that are
Have some-
close.
Dude, they've got scripts for all those lines. Re-record every single one of them and replace them if they don't want to play. I'm fine
I
with that.
mean, they did that in Destiny, but it was only one.
Yeah,
So-
with Dinkler, right?
Dinklage, yeah. They replaced him with Nolan North. So, and they re-recorded all of his lines in the game.
That's a lot of stuff.
The
But
So
that's
the one
only
thing I did
one
want to mention,
actor,
I've noticed
though,
on the
not
social,
12.
I've also noticed on the socials that our friend and voice actor for Valkorion has actually been engaged in helping to promote this expansion and everything,
Very
which
cool,
makes me
yes.
remember,
Darren
you know,
DePaul.
Valkorion really did just kind of die in a fever dream, so he could totally be coming back.
I have heard this. I have heard. Yeah, I've heard people. Tinfoil hatting about this. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, all we really need. Okay, so it was like a farm field last time.
Please
so this
force
time,
no.
Maybe
Maybe
an
just throw that
apple
out there.
orchard. You'll open up a crate in an apple orchard, and Valkorion will come crawling out. You know.
It's like, hold
Say,
on a
"Hey,
moment.
I'm
So we're
this bureaucrat's.
back with
lapdog."
Melgus and Valkorion. All we need
Right.
now to complete the set
Melgus,
is Kefis and Revan, and we're
Oh my
we're
God,
good to
I
go.
think I'm gonna vomit. I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's
I was
right.
like,
And
Revan is the
Revan-
new Kefis Undying. He's
Revan
always
was
here.
straight up. He was straight up split personality. You know, we just killed his dark side self. His light side self could still re-embody.
Do you see my face?
Okay, look, I'm a
Paul
Revan
does
fangirl,
so
but
many-
there's a limit, man. There's a limit. Although I would have been hysterically dying laughing if at the end of Gods, Kefis came up. Like, you kill Isaacs, and here comes Kefis, like, that would have been great.
They could also reanimate Dark Revan with the cybernetic body parts, but if they did that, he would have to come back like HK-57. You know, he would be
also refuses to die.
Darth Revan. Oh, I hate you for being mean to those people. And then you slap him and he dies. Because that's how we took care of assassin droids.
I just got through watching another round of Lord of the Rings. We went right through the movies again, and it strikes me how Gollum is Revan. right? He's got these two sides of himself. One's evil and one's good. Oh, goodness.
Well, it's not that he's evil. It's that, with that dude, it's that he's kind of gone a little bit psychotic and he's been influenced. With Revan, his was a choice. He made a choice. This guy was just, taken down by greed. That's all. Revan was like, I choose to be a dark side because of the Emperor and things, and the Jedi are evil from my point of view. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong Jedi.
Right. So, okay, let's get into the announcements right quick because we're kind of right at time. I'm not going to say anything. Goodness me, it is the eve of the expansion. The expansion comes out tomorrow morning. What I would say is don't expect a smooth deployment. When last did we have a smooth deployment where they were just like, hey, it's down for a couple hours in the morning. They bring the servers back up. Everything is smooth. Expect something awful for a little while tomorrow. Expect like an 8-hour delay or something like that because that's how BioWare does it, right? Keep your eye on Twitter, yeah. Kind of relax, take a walk, breathe a little bit, you'll be all right. Chill out. It's going to be great. We're all going to be on, and I am glad that we are seeing some new stuff in SWTOR. Chat was kind of hypey. I'm glad about it. I am hypey also.
Yeah.
I'm glad for this.
FYI, on Reddit, somebody put up a thing about what you should do for the new people, they said, prior to an expansion release. And there was a whole bunch of tips in there of what you should do. Go read
I think
it.
pretty much everybody has put out guides on that, and it's totally worth your time to check it out. They put a lot of hard work into that stuff. It's worth it.
They're talking about leave your computer on so that it'll start updating the game and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was kind of just nuts and bolts kind of basic, you know.
And which one of you typed the note that Korriban is confirmed under Disney canon now? So that's there now?
Because I care so much about Disney canon, let me tell you.
You should if they're going to take all the legacy and recanonize.
It doesn't count until they canonize Bane.
Bane's already been canon.
Fully back.
None of it counts because they put some jerk named Ben in there, also Kylo, and that's not Ben, okay? So none of it counts. Like,
it's all illegitimate.
I'm taking my toys and going home.
That's right. Give me my freaking toys on the shelf.
And Gary?
Bane was canonized in the Clone Wars television series, Sakari, ages ago.
Yes. Well, mentions of him were like Bane as
Bane himself.
Carpishan wrote him.
Yeah, Carpishan though says that they haven't asked him to do anything else.
Did they canonize Bane as in the rule of two, the whole Darth Zana, yes, all that stuff? Because that's what matters.
Not the details, but they did canonize Bane as the rule of two.
Okay, well, fair enough.
From the Old Republic era.
Did they say anything about Zana? Because I don't remember them mentioning Zana.
I don't know that Xana's ever been mentioned, though.
Because she's the best, and they're clearly having a stroke.
Guys, it's time. We're at the end of the episode.
Are we gonna say anything about Kidley's dealing tomorrow, or?
Go for it. Let's do it. Well,
it was on here, and I noticed it's not here anymore. That's why. Kidley's gonna have a show tomorrow, y'all. I don't have the details up, but
is it a stream? He's intending on streaming and kind of doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
He's
Tune in
still
for that.
In chat. Shout it out there, Kidley. I think he's doing giveaways and all that kind of stuff. There's probably some other streamers doing some stuff as well. I just happen to know about that one, so I'm not trying to just not be fair. I'm happy to shout out anybody. But
we're happy to promote our fellow content creators. We're more than happy to help out. I think that's it, right?
Content creators, but if they've been a guest, they're worth it.
Yes, we're selfish with that. Magic, would you like to say the thank yous?
I would like to say thank you to every single person who helped us out, who came in and talked to us in chat. You were fantastic, and we appreciate it. And we also want to say thank you to our patrons. You guys are phenomenal, and we love you, love you, love you. We'd like to say thank you to all of our haters, because we know Reddit is full of them. You guys are fantastic. We love you. Thanks a million.
And that brings us to the end of the episode. The council is adjourned. If you'd like to reach us, you can email us at thecouncil@thecouncilswotor.com. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor. You can find Elise on Twitter at abrown35, Magic Ace at the Magic Ace, myself at R3DN4, and Sakari at I am Sakari. Also, don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor, where patrons can catch the articles we're talking about behind the scenes and exclusive backstage access to our after show chat. That's it for this week, guys. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Forgive me, Master.